Hey everyone, this is Sandeep back with 100 Days of Coding JavaScript. And today is day 3 where I'm going to talk about JavaScript numbers. So let's jump into the video. So, numbers are very important in programming so that they're important in JavaScript also, right? So, JavaScript has several data types, right? We talked about primitive data types like number, string, boolean, undefined, null, which are mostly used. And today I'm going to talk about numbers. So JavaScript has one number type. That's it. It got one number type. If you talk about other programming languages, they have, like, I take the example of Java. Java has integers, then float, but then double, short, long, all those different kind of number data types. But JavaScript doesn't have all those different data type. It has just one number data type. You can store positive and negative numbers into it. Okay, so you can take a number data type and store a positive number or a negative number into it. If you see, the examples also are given here, right? So I can define an age variable, I can store 30 into it, and a loss variable, I can store minus 5000 into it. You can store whole numbers, that is integers, and decimal numbers into it, right? So example is number of stars in galaxy. This is more of a big number, so you can store the big numbers also. So this is like a whole number, and distance, which is 15.5, is a decimal number, right? And you need to be careful about number precision. This is really important. Why I'm talking about that, we'll take this example of pi, where, if I input this number, if I store this number 3.1400000, a lot of zeros and then 289, probably you'll get an output of something like this. So this 289 got rounded to 3. So that can happen. So let's do this. I'm going to copy this code and I'll go back to my Visual Studio Code, and I have already created the project, right? Numbers and operators here, okay? And I have the index.html file, then I have included the script file. You can take the structure from the D2 also, right? I'm going to paste this code so that I can explain it line by line. So I'm going to comment the code, right? And we'll go one by one. So you can define a variable using a let keyword, age is equals to 30. So we talked about it, right? JavaScript has one number data type. You can store positive and negative numbers. So you see here, right? I have declared age, stored a positive number into it, then a loss variable where I have stored a negative number into it, right? The next one is you can store whole numbers, integers, and decimal numbers. So this is nothing but a whole number, number of stars in galaxy. It's a long number, right? Big number, but this is a whole number. And you can store decimals also, like let distance equals to 15.5. So it got a decimal point. That's why it's known as a decimal number. Next point is you need to be careful about number precision, and I'm going to log it. Okay, so I've declared a pi variable here. It got 3.11400000289, and if I try to log this, we are going to see this as an output. So I'm going to open my index.html in live server, using live server in the browser. And now if I go to inspect and console, and I'm going to clean first and refresh. See that? It got 3 at the end, but you see here. So this is important, right? I mean, where the precision matters, like in banking applications, right? The number precision matters a lot, or in trading application. So those kind of application, you need to be really careful about these kind of long numbers. Okay, cool. So if you want to take a quick pause, take a quick pause, and we will talk about the next topic, that is math operators. Okay, so JavaScript got several number of math operators which we have learned in school, right? So we got a plus operator, minus operator, multiplication, division, and modulus, and this is called the exponential operators. I'm just going to copy this code just to save time. I'm going to explain it here. So I'm going to paste. I'll put a comment. Okay, I need to select first. I'm going to commit it, and let's learn it, understand it line by line. So I've declared a sum variable here, and you can see I'm doing the addition operation here, right? So if I do the console.log of this, I'm going to get 55 as an output. So let's go back to our browser. You see that 55 is an output. And that 3.14 is coming from the pi. Now next we can do the subtraction pretty quickly, right? Counter 10 minus 1, that's going to return us 9. So save, see that we got the 9. We can do multiplication also. Very simple, using the star operator. Save, you got the rates here. And we can do division also. So I've declared a pieces, and 100 by 4 is going to return probably 25, right? And finally we got the, not finally, we got the, this is special. I mean, you must be thinking this is going to return the percentage, something like that, but this is called a modulus operator. Maybe I should write it down here, right? Modulus operator. And modulus, maybe I'm forgetting the spelling. Okay, modulus operator. So what it does, it returns, it actually divide 35 by 2, and it returns the remainder of this calculation. So you remember when we used to divide, right? We used to get a remainder, right? So that's what it's going to return. That's why I have named it as remaining. So 35 modulus 2 is going to return us 1. So this is the remainder of the division operation of 35 divided by 2. And the last one is the exponential operator, exponent operator, I would say. So this is 3 into 2, 2 is actually 3 square. So 3 square means 3 into 3, right? 3 into 3, something like this. And that's going to return 9 as an output. See that? Pretty simple, right? Pretty simple operators, math operators, addition, subtraction. So now if you want to do any kind of math operation in JavaScript, you can use all of these operators: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, and exponent operator. Cool. So next topic, let's move on to the next one. That is operator precedence. This is really, really important topic. And I'm going to open this link. Okay, I'm going to just keep it open. I'll come back to this link. Let's copy these examples first. And I'm going to put it here. I'm going to comment first. Now let's talk about operator precedence. So I'm going to remove these comments. So I've declared a variable called result, and I have 5 plus 5 divided by 2 here. Now tell me what will be the output of this math operation. Just think about it. So probably you must be thinking like 5 plus 5 is 10, and 10 divided by 2 is 5, right? So you must be thinking the result will be 5. Now let's console.log this result. So I'm going to copy this console.log, and we see the result. Okay, what is the result? The result is 7.5. Why? Why is it? Because the division happens before the addition. Because division has a higher precedence over addition. So what is going on here? 5 divided by 2 is going to return us 2.5, and then 2.5 get added to 5, and finally we are getting 7.5. And how you can learn all of this operator precedence, so that I have given this link. You can go here, just scroll down, and it got a table. This is pretty good link by Mozilla, and here you can see, like, so there are so many operators, right? And I can't cover every operator in one video. So you see here, right? There are so many operators, and each operator got a precedence, right? So if you're using multiple operators and one of the expression, one of the statement, your program statement, right? You need to see at the precedence of all those operators. If you see here, left to right, right? We are doing the calculation left to right, and this is my expression, right? Where multiplication division has a higher precedence over addition or subtraction. And we have a division operator here. That's why 5 is getting divided by 2 first and then getting added with 5. Okay, now maybe like you want to override this precedence, right? You can use something called brackets for that, which will override your precedence. So say suppose I want to do addition first, 5 plus 5, and then the divisions, I can use this brackets which has the higher precedence, right? So the addition is going to happen first, 10, and then 10 divided by 2, and that's going to return with the result, which is nothing but 5. See that? Simple. Keep this link with you whenever you have a confusion which operation is going to happen first. Just follow this table and you will have the answer with you. Okay, cool. So let's take a quick pause, and then I want to cover a couple of more topics, or maybe, yeah, couple of more topics. Let's have a quick pause and come back. We'll cover these couple of topics. Next, let's talk about two different terms, or terms, I would say, nan and infinity. So nan is a numeric value. It's a value. Pretty important, right? Nan is a numeric value that represents something that is not a number. So nan is a value, like 1, 2, 5, 6, 100, 200. These are value, right? Or my name Sandeep is a value in JavaScript. Similarly, nan is also a value which can come out of such kind of expressions. So I'm going to copy all of these expressions and let me paste it here, and let's go line by line. So first of all, I'm going to comment, and let's go line by line. So I've declared a out variable here, and I'm doing 0 by 0. If you divide 0 by 0, I mean, that is not possible. So you're going to get the value which is called a not a number value. So I'm going to print out here. And if you divide 0 by 0, you get something called a not a number, because dividing 0 by 0 is quite impossible, right? That's why you're getting nan. That's why I'm saying the result of this division is a value which is not a number value. Similarly, let's take this example. I have declared a variable a. Let a is equal to 1 plus nan. So if you do addition, so if you add any number with nan, the output is going to be nan. You see that, right? And the last one, that is related to infinity. So you can't divide 1 by 0, right? If you try to divide 1 by 0, it will go into infinite loop probably, right? And it's going to return the value of infinity. So if you don't get a result of any calculation, you get back something called infinity. So you might get a nan value, and you might get a infinity value out of some of the mathematical operations. Pretty simple, right? Let's move on to the next and last topic of this video, that is unary operators. So unary operators are pretty simple. I'm going to copy this first and paste it here. And let's go line by line again, and let's understand. So I've declared a variable called score here. Let score equals to 0. So initially the value of, think like we are taking the example of a cricket match, right? And it starts with a score of 0. Now, if you want to increment or increase the value of score by 10, you can do this kind of addition, right? So you can say score is equal to score plus 10. And if you output this score, you'll get score 0 plus 10 equals to 10. So if I come back here, see, we are getting output as 10. Now, if you want to increment the value of score by 1, just by 1, you can use something like this, score plus plus. And that's going to increment the value of score just by 1. So the value of score is 10 now, right? If I increment by 1, what will be the output? I'll get 11. Simple, right? So if you want to increment the value of a number by 1, you can use score plus plus. Similarly, if you want to decrement the value of that particular variable by decrement or lessen, right, by 1, we can do score minus minus, like we did score plus plus. So what will be the output? It will be 10, right? Because the score is 11 currently. Now I've decremented it by 1. I got 10. All right. And say suppose the batsman, he has scored 4 runs, right? By hitting a 4 run, right? So if you want to, so we are not limited to increment by 1 only. We can increment by score plus equals to 4. This also you can do. This is like a shortcut of this, right? Score plus 4. If I write score plus 4, something like that. So this is similar. So these two statements are pretty similar. Only thing is, I'm just using the score one time. So score plus equals to 4 will increment my score by 4, you'll get something like 14 maybe. Let's see. Yes, we got a 14. Similarly, I can decrement the score minus equals to 4. And if I log it, I'm going to get back 10, right? So 14 minus 4 is 10. So you can use all of these operators. We call it a unary operators like plus plus, plus equals to, minus equals to. There are some others also, right? Like probably we are not limited only with plus equals to and minus equals to. You can use all of this with uh, multiplication equal to and division equals to also. So say suppose I have money. So suppose I have 100 rupees now, and if I multiply, so I got my money got 10 times, incremented 10 times. So I can do money into equals to 10. So that is going to return me 100 into 10 is 1000, right? And later on, if I divide my money by 2, it's going to return me 500. So if I go back, see that 1500. Pretty simple, right? So I've covered a lot of things. I talked about numbers. So let's have a quick recap what we have discussed in this video. So JavaScript has one number type. You can store positive and negative numbers into it. You can store whole, integer and decimal numbers into it. And you need to be careful about precision, right? You see that? This is really important. Next, we talked about math operators. We have addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, and exponent. And we talked about order precedence, right? Those brackets. Division has a higher precedence than addition, and this link is really important. And I talked about nan infinity. Nan is a numeric value that represents something that is not a number. So nan is value, infinity is also a value. We have seen some of the mathematical expressions here, right? And their output. And finally, I talked about unary operators. You can use plus plus, minus minus to increment or decrement a number by 1. You can use plus equals to add or subtract any number on the right hand side. You can do the same thing with the multiplication equals to and division equals to also. Okay, so I hope this video is helpful. You have understood numbers and operators. Pretty basic things, but these are really, really important when we are going to write JavaScript programs. With that, I'm going to stop here. I'll see you in the next video, that is day 4 of our 100 days of coding JavaScript. Until then, you take care, goodbye, and thanks for watching the video.